Crossovers have led to some interesting and unexpected surprises, from the absolutely massive scale of Super Smash Bros. To the worlds of Disney and Final Fantasy merging together into Kingdom Hearts, to Mario meeting the rabbits with guns. And that game turned out awesome, so who am I to judge? One crossover in particular is something very special to me. Even though it's not what fans of Fire Emblem or Shin Megami Tensei were expecting, this game still turned out pretty amazing and remains a personal favorite on Wii U. And to celebrate this game's encore coming to Nintendo Switch, which, oh my god, they Nintendo and Atlas are bringing Tokyo Process into Nintendo Switch. This is a game on the Wii that I was looking forward to the most. I'm super excited. Anywho, I could sit here for a long time endlessly praising this game, but that's not what you're here for. You're here to learn more about the development history of Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Or you just like the sound of my voice. Or you accidentally clicked on this video. Regardless of your reasoning for coming here, let's get this started. I'm your host for today, L8RG8R2U, and today's episode of the Gaming Gallery we're discussing the development history of Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. Tokyo Mirage Sessions was first hinted at during a January 2013 Nintendo Direct. This was a very notable direct in particular, as it gave us the first bits of information on a majority of the Wii U's major games that took their own sweet time to actually come out. From Yarn Yoshi turning from a flat Kirby's Epic Yarn-esque game to the beautifully crafted Yoshi's Woolly World, from Monolith Soft's X hinting at a deeper online mode than what we got in the final game. One trailer, however, was for something very unexpected. Simply known as Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, all we were shown were characters from both series and what looked like a burning city in the distance. With so little information to go off of, several gaming journalists were theorizing that the game could be of any genre. That was until Atlus themselves confirmed the game would be an RPG. They also went on to confirm that the teaser was only meant to be a vague concept of what they were currently working on at the time. And we wouldn't hear about the game again for a long time. Several years later, when Codename Steam was announced, Intelligent Systems were asked about the progress of Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem. Nintendo producer Hitoshi Yamagami would confirm that even though they had nothing to show for the game yet, development was progressing on schedule. The game would go unseen from the public eye for years as Intelligent Systems and Atlus continued working on their project behind the scenes. Although Atlus wasn't their first choice when it came to planning out a crossover. During the very early stages of development, Nintendo producer Kaoru Ando wanted to develop some kind of Fire Emblem crossover, with their first choice of being a collaboration with Pokemon. However, this idea was rejected as the Pokemon Company was already working with Tokyo Koei on Pokemon Conquest, which was a crossover between Pokemon and Nobunaga's Ambition. With this in mind, Kaoru Ando would rework her ideas of a crossover between Fire Emblem and Shin Megami Tensei. While Atlus was originally hesitant to accept the proposal due to their busy commitments to other projects, they would eventually agree to work on the game. Even though both companies were enthusiastic about working with each other, how exactly the game itself was going to work remained uncertain for the longest time. The original plan was for an RPG with a grid-based strategy system similar to Fire Emblem, but the two companies later agreed that this wasn't the best approach. Instead, it was decided to make the game more focused on how Atlus develops RPGs. One of the main goals of the project was to develop something entirely new that could still be enjoyed by Fire Emblem and Shin Megami Tensei fans. This is why the game features an entirely new cast, with Tokyo as the main setting, a common setting for Shin Megami Tensei and Persona games, and featuring Persona-inspired redesigns of Fire Emblem characters acting as your partners. The decision to make the game for the Wii U was due to the success of Fire Emblem Awakening. Nintendo felt that the 3DS was the perfect home for a traditional Fire Emblem game, so the Wii U was chosen for their crossover project as they felt the home console was a better place for a more experimental game. For a short time though, Nintendo and Atlus were considering making the game for both Wii U and 3DS, but no further work was done on a potential 3DS version. The game's focus on the entertainment industry was decided out of necessity when trying to figure out how to incorporate Fire Emblem characters into an Atlus world. The original idea was to feature reincarnations of the characters, but this was rejected as it could have had a strong impact on the Fire Emblem mythology and timeline. Instead, the developers took inspiration from Japanese shamanism, more specifically Kami Oroshi. Kami Oroshi is the belief of a deity who can possess and communicate through a priest or a ritual dancer. This inspiration can be seen in the final game as the performers were attracted to talented entertainers. Each character was created to showcase a different side of the entertainment industry. Tsubasa and Kiryu represent music, Tuma represents superhero stories, Eleonora represents the desire for Hollywood fame, and so on and so forth. However, the main character Itsuki doesn't really belong to any single part of the industry, acting as more of an outsider observing what's going on around him. This was done so the developers could have a believable excuse for Itsuki being involved in his friend's work without being directly involved in the work himself. This was necessary when working on the side stories, as the developers want players to really care about their partners. So as a way to help players bond with them, side stories disconnected from the main plot were created to help expand the character arcs. To prevent players from feeling overwhelmed by juggling the main story and the side content, the intermissions are created between chapters to help give players time to enjoy the game's atmosphere before diving into the next chunk of the story. To help make the game's world feel as alive as possible, several trips were made to the real-world Tokyo so the developers could replicate it as much as possible. Developing Shibuya alone was said to have taken roughly 1 to 2 years of development time. Of course, music and sound design play an important role in the game's story. Go figure, considering there's a music sharp in the game's title. Nintendo would work together with Avox Group to work with the music composition. Avox Group had worked with them previously, notably with the song Ring-a-Ding from Style Savvy's series, which would later appear in the Super Smash Bros. Games. To make sure the voice acting was as accurate and authentic as possible, it was decided that all voice actors would perform their own dialogue and singing vocals. Yoshino Nanju, who voices Kiryu, had trouble with her role as she wanted to portray her sense of coolness while hinting at her inner softness, a key point in her character's background. She particularly had trouble recording the game's most popular song, Reincarnation, which had to be redone over 10 times to accurately portray Kiryu's personality. And just for fun, let's discuss some of the other roles the actress who plays Tsubasa, Inori Benesi, has played. She's played the Japanese voice for Lily in the Pokemon movie The Power of Us, Cassandra in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and Betty from the MCU Spider-Man movies. This doesn't have anything to do with Tokyo Mirage Sessions, but I just thought it'd be fun to point it out. The decision to have all the voice actors portray their own singing roles was the reason why Nintendo decided against having an English voice cast when localizing the game overseas. For every language the game supported, Nintendo would have had to track down a full cast who could sing and perform voice work for their native language. This would have caused the localization process to take up to 6 months to a year, which is why all versions of the game feature only Japanese voice acting. That said though, Tsubasa, Kiryu, Eleonora, and Mamori were given English voices when they were added to Fire Emblem Heroes, so who knows, maybe they can patch in an English dub into Encore down the line. Although this was likely done because they only have to speak their roles in Fire Emblem Heroes, as I'm pretty sure that game doesn't have any kind of singing performances. I don't know, it's been a while since I played the game. And now, let's discuss some miscellaneous changes. Inside the files of Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Atlus left in storyboard versions of 6 cutscenes. They've also done this for Persona 3 and Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. It's nothing mind-blowing, but it's interesting to see how these ideas would have evolved over time. There's a cube map texture in-game with the file name referencing the date November 10th, 2013, a common developer technique to timestamp development progress. Within the game's files is this very random image of Kireka from Shining Resonance, another game published by Atlus' parent company Sega. There are several references to the game's project name Stainless. Some in-game screenshots refer to Fortuna Entertainment as Stainless Entertainment. This one image also refers to the game as Fire Emblem Tensei. There's a random placeholder image used for testing the game's shop feature featuring Tiki's Fire Emblem Awakening appearance. Players would have originally been able to freely move the camera during battles, but this was dropped in favor of more cinematic camera movements used in the final game. The audience was also originally going to boo the party members if they messed up during battle, but this was thankfully dropped. One of the first ideas for the game's battle transitions featured a clapperboard used for movies. And in the game's files, we could see what Tsubasa's cartridge form was originally going to look like. She was originally going to have a more blue outfit, with her hair let down, as opposed to the pink outfit and a ponytail in the final game. Tsubasa would have also originally been able to wear glasses throughout the game, but this was unfortunately removed from the Wii U version. Thankfully though, the Nintendo Switch version has brought this feature back. So the best waifu can wear glasses now, and that makes me super happy, because I love glasses. The North American Wii U box art also claims this game can be played with a Wii Remote and Nunchuck, but that's actually not possible. And last, but not least, let's discuss the game's title, as I'm either about to blow your mind, or tell you something you figured out a long time ago. Tokyo Mirage Sessions, TMS. Shin Megami Tensei, SMT. This reference somewhat carries over into the Japanese name too, G.A.M.E Bunroku. This name is a reference to the first Persona game's Japanese name, Megami Bunroku Persona. The logo was also said to be tilted at an angle as a way to represent the game's different perspective on the Fire Emblem series. It's the little touches that make these games special. And that's all for today, so if you'd like to hear us talk more about gaming development history, we've got plenty of topics for you to choose from. Get it? Topic. Topics are the in-game text system in the game. Whatever. I've been your host for today, L8RG8R2U, and if you'd like to hear more of my dumb voice, you can check out one of my Let's Plays on screen. I'd love to Let's Play Tokyo Mirage Sessions someday. It hasn't happened yet, but who knows, maybe someday. Thank you all for watching this episode of the Game Galley, and remember that in our hearts, we are gamers. And also, please play Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore on Nintendo Switch. That game is awesome. More people need to play it. Please, I'm asking nicely.